Hey guys, Melissa here, and in this video I am going to show you how to edit your Showit template. So let's start off by the left panel over here with the site settings. So over here with the favicon, this is where you can upload your image, and this is pretty much the little icon that pops up in your URL right next to your domain name. And then you can change your site name, your site language, you can connect your domain right here, and then change your vanity URL. And over here we have blog. This is where you can connect your blog. And then this is where you can add all your social links such as Instagram, Pinterest, Facebook, YouTube, and so on. And this is where you could connect your Google Analytics. And then right under site settings, we have design settings. So this is where you can change all of your coloring. So for this template, our Nova Studio template as an example, it's mainly black, green, and yellow. But you can just click over here on each color and just change it to the ones you would like, or you can copy and paste the hex code right here. So let's say I wanted maybe, let's see, I don't know, purple, pink. Super easy to change. And then just a reminder, every time you do a change, make sure you click on the save button over here, because if not, if you change it and you click on the X, it would not save. And then you have to start all over again, because that actually happened to me when I first started out on Showit. And then, before I get to the type styles, let me explain the fonts. So over here, this is where you will have all your active fonts within the template. But if you like to add any new font, you could just click over here and just, for example, Alice, add Google font, and then it will be added into your template. But if you have purchased a custom font, you can just upload the file over here where it says custom fonts, and you will need the WOF file. If your purchase does not come, 99% of the time it should come with a WOF file, but if it doesn't, you could always just use a free font generator and just change it to this. And yeah, so then type files. Okay, so this is where you can change your title. So for example, if I wanted to be this font right here, I can just change it. You could change the color to it. And you can change the letter spacing, the margin, and yeah, you could change the heading, subheading, paragraph, and so on. And then let's head to buttons. Over here, you can customize each of your button. So if you want your button to be black, you can just go ahead and change it. And then the font of your button, you could also change it right here. You could change the corner, so if you want it to be a rectangle, or this one right here. It's super easy to edit. Okay. And I'm not gonna save because I don't want to change my template. Okay, and then now for the media library, you can just click here, and this is where you can upload all your images you like to use in your template. Just click on this button over here, and you can also add them to folders if you want to be. This is like a really good thing to be organized. So let's say I want to put Nova Studio. Oops, okay, add. And then we can see I can just drag all the images right here. Okay, and for pages, so all of these pages is what is in the template. So for example, right now we are on the home page, and then we can also go to the about page, portfolio, and so on. And then for the pages, these are all of the sections that are with your page. So for example, we have the announcement bar, we have the header, we have the intro, and you can just edit each section on its own. For example, projects, if I wanted to edit the portfolio section, I can just go ahead and click and start editing. And okay, so let's go down to blog templates is where your blogs are going to be if applicable. Right now, this template does not have a blog. Okay, now let's go down to site canvases. So the site canvases are pretty much going to be the canvases that will be on a lot of the pages of your website. So let's take the menu as an example, the footer, reviews, portfolio, and so it could be a little confusing when you're first starting out. So for example, let's say I want to edit the footer, right? I don't know, let's use this as an example. I just want to change the name to media agency, right? Okay, and then I click out of it and let me go to my about page. So you can see here that it automatically updates all of the pages to what I just changed. So this is super handy to save time, so then you don't have to change it on every single page. Once you change it right here in the site canvas, it will update automatically on all of the other pages. Let's go on to the mobile and desktop view. So right now we are previewing our template in the desktop right here, and you can also zoom in or zoom out. And if you want to preview your template in mobile, just click on the phone icon right here, and you can also edit it to however you like, and you can preview both right here. I personally like editing my templates first on the desktop view, and then I'll go ahead and edit everything else on mobile, but it's totally up to you, whatever it's going to be easier. Now let's go ahead to our toolbox right here where it has this blue button that says add elements, and this is pretty much where you're going to be able to add text boxes. So for example, if I want to add a title right here, yeah, I could just type anything I want. So I don't know, Showit tutorial, and then you can see here that I can change the color on the right hand corner to any color I like. Super simple. I can also change the font right here, the text size. So if I want to make this bigger, I can just go ahead and do that. And then you can also go ahead and add elements such as rectangles, ovals, and yeah, all that. If you want to add a line, you can also add that over here. You can also add images right here. So let's say I wanted to add an image on the bottom corner. I can just go ahead and click on image, and yeah, just choose any image you like, drag it around. I can also customize the image right here. So let's say I want this image to be a circle, and yeah, super easy. And then this is where we can also add icons. So you have so many icons you can choose from. This is where you will be able to get your menu, hamburger menus, your social media icons such as Instagram, X, Facebook, TikTok, and so on. So yeah, you can pretty much play around with these. These quotation marks are fantastic for reviews. Also these little stars. You can get arrows over here. So let's say I wanted to maybe have an arrow pointing down. You can also do that and then change the color right here. And you can also embed code. So for example, let's say here on the newsletter, I wanted to embed a freebie. I would just go ahead and click on embed code. And when whatever third party you are using, whether it's ConvertKit, Flowdesk, or just anything like that, you can just copy and paste the code right here. Just double tap and click save, and it should show up. And then you can also add videos. So let's say I wanted to add a YouTube video as an example. I don't know, I'm just gonna put it right here. So you can import a video from your media library, from YouTube or Vimeo. So in this example, let me just use YouTube. I'll go ahead and copy the URL. Place it right here where it says YouTube ID. And there, your video should pop up right there. And yeah, it's just super easy. Okay, now let's go ahead and delete and remove that. And make the canvas back to its size. Okay, now let's move on to gallery. So I will show you quickly how to add a gallery. So let's go ahead on the left side and click on these three dots and click on add blank canvas. Okay, so I'm gonna make the canvas a little bigger and change the background color. Okay, and then I would rename the canvas to gallery. I would drag it up over here and I will click on gallery, and then you can make it to however big you want it to be. So I like that it fills up the whole canvas. And then you go ahead on the right side and click on manage images, and let's just go ahead and start adding all of the images we want to be included in this gallery. You can add up to 300, but in this example, let's just do 7. Okay, and then let's go ahead to the gallery settings, and I am going to do a sliding gallery, and I want the gallery to move on its own. So for auto advance, I am going to put, let's say 1.25. Okay, let's see how that look like. Over here on the preview. And perfect. So you see how it's moving on its own. It has all the images we included. And with the galleries, you can also drag it if you like. And yeah, with the gallery section, you could really play around with it. It's super simple. Okay. And then for social grid, this is where you can add your Instagram. So for example, a lot of people do it in the footer section. So let's just go ahead to the footer, social grid. And also, let me just stretch it out. And you have to connect your Instagram account. I have my account already connected. So yeah, so these are all my Instagram posts that I've posted, but yeah, you can just connect your Instagram account and it's super easy. And then here in the medium section, you can also use it to upload your images. Okay, now let's go on to the right side of the panel, right? So we have canvas and then we have canvas background. So for the canvas background, this is where you have 3 options. You could either upload an image, upload video, or do a color. So for here, if I wanted it to be yellow, I can just go ahead and put color, or yes, like that. And you can just do any color you like. Or if I want an image, you can just go over here and upload your any image you like. And as well for videos, you can upload any videos. So let's see. So let's say I wanted to upload this video right here. I can do it. Let's see how that would look like. And right there, super easy. Okay. Let me just change it back to how it was before. There. Oh, and yeah, if you ever want to reverse anything, you can just go and click on these right here, these arrows right here, and just reverse. Or Control Z. Okay, and now for animation. So you can pretty much make your text and image do some cool effects that Showit already has implemented. So let's say for this section, I want to add a little more effects than it has already. Fade, I'm gonna make these small texts. Okay. And for the title, let's put slide from, let's do from the right. And then the little mini header, let's do slide as well to the left. Okay, and I'm gonna show you quickly of how that would look like. Should I do something to the image? Okay, let's. I don't know. Okay, let's just do a bounce effect, and I'll show you real quick of how that would look like. Right there. And yeah, it just brings like it just gives your website more personality. So I love using these effects for some of my canvases. And let's go on to the hover section. So let's say whenever someone hovers on your text, you would want it to change color. You will come over here, click on custom, go to color, and let's say I want to do this green color. Okay. And then for the image, let's say I want the opacity to be lower when someone hovers over it. Okay, let's see how this will look like. So you see when I put my mouse over it, it changed color. And then also when I put my mouse over the image, the opacity level got lower. So yeah, these are just really cool effects to implement to your Showit template. And I'll show you more ways you can edit your images. So you can just click on any image you like to edit. Click on the effects right here on the right side of your panel, open image. And then click here on customize, and you can add opacity, a blur effect, a drop shadow, and also change the borders. So let's go ahead and add a shadow effect to this image. I love adding an outer effect. It just gives more of a luxe and sleek look to your website. Let's add it to this one as well. Drop shadow, outer, and okay. And let's say I want this to be more of an oval circle shape, I can just edit it just like that. And you can also make it bigger, smaller, move it around. You can really do so much with Showit. And okay, now let's move on to linking buttons and pages in your website. Okay, so let's say I want to add a button right here. Let's go ahead. Oops. Okay. So let's say I want this button to lead to my services page. So I'll just go over here on the click actions. I will put page, and then I will go down to my services, and it will automatically lead anyone to my service section. Or let's say I wanted to lead to a URL. So let's say I have a membership. I will get the link to my membership, and I'll just copy and paste it right here. And you can also link your image to a page as well. So let's say I'd want this image to lead to a single project. So I will go over here, click on page, and then I will go down to single project. And yeah, then it would lead anyone that clicks on it, it will lead them to that specific page. And also, if you have any questions, you could just come down here on the bottom right hand corner where it says ask a question, and you could ask Showit anything. Their team is super amazing. They are super quick. They are so helpful, and they will guide you with any questions you have. Just real quick, if you ever want to preview your changes, just click on this button right here. And yeah, don't forget to hit publish once you're done editing your website and you're ready to launch. So yeah, I